I have a new favorite totally deranged gadzillionaire story. So my old favorite one was to do with Mr. Beast's like production process. That was like my favorite story to tell. Just like the guy's like so laser focused on just like productivity and like maximizing his day that there's some pretty sort of mind blowing to me. Who, you know, people have been telling me I should have an assistant for like better part of a decade at this point. And people were surprised to find out that I had one in that assistant swap video because he only just started. He started less than 6 months ago. By the way, I'd like to address something from that video. The number of people that are mad at me about being so like disrespectful that I barely even talk to my assistant or look at him or whatever, and that's why I didn't notice. Do you know why I wasn't talking to him? Do you know why I wasn't like paying attention to him?
Because he's in recovery?
Because I thought he was at work after having gone through eye surgery and mouth surgery. I was trying to interact with him as little as humanly possible.
Not use them as much.
Yes. Yeah. So I barely talked to him. Because he shouldn't have been at work.
Evil person.
It's so frustrating, man. Like, it's honestly frustrating how determined some people are to find the absolute worst possible explanation for anything that I do.
Yeah.
Anything I do. It absolutely blows my mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to the xQc thing. So my new favorite deranged thing is he was talking about this on stream, so I'm not disclosing something that is private information or anything like that. But as a streamer, he moves around a lot. And we probably don't need to explain why that would be. A lot of streamers move around a lot just for security and privacy, right? You know, they're public figures.
Definitely.
And being live is different from recording VODs, right? Like I worked across multiple countries, you know, this week, and there was no disruption to our upload schedule. Live, you don't have that luxury. If you don't have somewhere to stream from, like, you're not producing. That's it. It's that simple. So anyway, he moves around a fair bit. And I didn't know that. I have to confess, I hadn't watched a ton of his streams. Like I'm not going to hide from it. I might read the comments once in a while, but I don't, like I'm paying attention to his career, but I'm not watching the streams.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't aware of this, but when I walked in, I was kind of like taken aback by how bare things were. Like it felt like, you know that scene in How the Grinch Stole Christmas? After the Grinch takes everything but the wire hanging on the wall, you know, and the crumb on the floor for the mouse, right?
Like he steals the crumb at the very end.
Like it was like weird. It was like there's a lot of like boxes, but not a lot of furniture, you know. And so he was explaining that it came up because I needed some electrical tape, and I was like, oh, what are the odds? Do you have any electrical tape? Because I wanted to cover up some loose contacts that I was worried were going to short. And it takes him about 5 seconds. There's this toolbox that's right there in the room. Grabs some electrical tape, new in packaging, throws it to me. I'm like, oh, well, that's impressive, because even with my perfectly organized garage that I love talking about, it probably would have taken me more like 10 seconds, even though my garage is perfectly organized. Anywho, I was like really impressed. And he goes, oh, well, don't be that impressed. That's a brand new toolbox full of brand new tools. I've like never touched it, basically. And I'm like, sorry, what? Okay, why do you have it? And he explains that he has an Amazon wish list that has all the essentials for living.
Every time he moves,
and what he does is every time he moves, he rebuys everything sent straight to the new address. So it's all just there in boxes when he arrives. He unpacks it. He said he brings with him his CPU and like monitor, like maybe, I don't even know if he mentioned his keyboard, honestly. And by CPU, I think he might have meant tower, because I doubt he's going to like pull the CPU out of the socket.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, other than what fits in the back of a car, he takes absolutely nothing with him and just rebuys everything. I'm like,
wow. All right. I mean, it's a hassle.
I mean, yeah, packing is a pain.
And one of the things is like, I've heard this from a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and him in particular. As far as my understanding goes, I don't watch either, but again, I follow careers. he has more streamed hours than like anyone. He's just always online.
I'll tell you this. Just being there with him that one time, guy's a tank.
Yeah.
An absolute unit. Like, I don't think it was out of rudeness at all, but I don't think the thought entered his mind at all of like food.
Yeah.
Like, for real. He had been live for almost 5 hours when we arrived. We were there for, I think, like 3.5 or 4. And by the time I was back at my hotel, having dropped off Andy and, you know, said hi to the family and stuff, he was still online. And I'm sitting here going, like, it's a good thing that we stopped for some Mickey D's on the way there, because otherwise we wouldn't have eaten. And not, again, like, not because I think he was being rude or anything like that.
In.
He's just,
as far as my understanding
streaming.
goes, he does marathon level streams like literally on the daily. Literally. So like he doesn't have time to do that stuff, right? It would be really expensive. It would be more expensive than apparently just buying it.
yeah. Well, and there's, I've been trying to like think about this, right? Because it's like, you know, on the surface, it makes no sense, right?
He looks calm and ready.
But I think it's okay. I think it's probably fair to say that major streamers like an xQc have a more mainstream appeal than someone like me. Like, I think it's fair to say that xQc is more famous than me, generally speaking.
Multi-niche.
Like, I don't really have a ton of appeal outside
especially
of tech.
as a variety gamer, which I believe he is.
Yes. So if I were to walk into a Best Buy, yeah, obviously people are going to be like, "Sup, Linus?" You know, I go into a Micro Center, I get absolutely mobbed, right? But if I go into a garden supplies store, nobody knows who I am,
Yeah.
right? Whereas gaming is mainstream, right? And especially, like you said, if he plays all kinds of different
Variety.
games, then he could appeal to kind of anyone on a certain level, right? And so from a security standpoint, if he hires a moving company, that means that everyone involved in that transaction knows where he came from and where he's going. Whereas if he just orders from Amazon...
Didn't think about that. Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
And people do all kinds of weird stuff. Like,
There's got to be like executive, like white glove moving companies where they move like, you know,
maybe,
special people.
but are they everywhere?
And
Can
it
you
probably
actually
costs
trust them?
so much.
And it's so much to
anyways.
coordinate that you might as well just
Yeah.
buy everything new. Because people are weird. Like, I've met, like, I don't know, don't want to name any names, but like I've met parents of like my kids' friends, right, who don't immediately disclose that they know who I am.
Yeah. I
They'll
hate
like
that.
interact with me for a bit
Oh,
first.
I hate that so much.
And they're like, "By the way, big fan." I'm kind of like,
Someone very recently.
you need to lead with that.
Yeah. Someone very recently asked me about my biggest pet peeve about fan interactions, and I immediately jumped on that. Hate it. Hate it.
Like, you don't.
Another thing I hate is like if
Yeah.
you and I are out to eat and there's someone seated near us, and then like we're there for like an hour, and then they get up to go leave, and as they're leaving, they're like, "By the way, big fan," and they take off. Then my brain just has to go through.
What
like,
have we been talking about?
What did we say for the last hour?
Yeah.
Like just
That one I get more.
that one makes a little bit
because,
more
like,
sense. You know, it might be socially awkward
we
to say it.
weren't
and then sit
already
there.
talking, and like I know you can just tell by the body language sometimes. I know for some people it would have been very stressful for them to acknowledge me and then sit there like
Eating. Yeah, the dining one, honest, I get it more as well. It's just, it's still, as much as I understand it, it still racks my brain.
Yvonne's. I'm really careless about it, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
we should just assume people are watching at all
Yeah.
times. I was in line for some attraction with Yvonne, and I was talking about revenue numbers for like the last year and the next year and projections with like Screwdriver. This was before the launch, and Yvonne's like, "Okay, you're not speaking vaguely enough. Like, I'll keep it kind of could be anything."
Yeah.
But she's like, if someone knows who you are, they're going to put 2 and 2 together. They're not stupid. And like later on, they must not have heard her say that, at least, because the person in front of us in line turned around and was like, "Big fan, by the way." I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I hope that was nebulous enough.
Yeah.
Because it was pretty detailed, like financial information about the company. Oh no. Yeah.
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 Linus isn't into OPSEC? No. Anyways.
Anyway, it was definitely a different experience. Even though obviously I stream, like we're streaming for, how many people are watching right now?
It's not the same.
We're look, we're streaming for over 20,000 people right now. Like probably close to 25 by the time you factor in Floatplane. It's not 80,000.
We hang out in his area, but it's his area.
Yes.
It's their area, I should say.
Yes.
Because there's lots of other major streamers and stuff.
And aside from just the volume, honestly, maybe this is weird. Like maybe I shouldn't have a parasocial relationship or whatever the opposite, whatever the counter of a parasocial relationship is with some, with an influencer or whatever. But like when I'm on WAN show, I'm in my space.
Yeah.
I'm with, hold on, my peeps, right? I'm hanging with you guys who, whoops. What did I press? Okay, there we go. And I consider you guys just like part of the in crowd here. We're hanging. Like WAN show is its own entity that I don't know. I just almost have like a completely different brain space for it. I am often too candid on WAN show. I'm often too transparent because the way that I see it is like, well, you guys will understand, and if you don't, then I probably need to explain it better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm among friends, I guess, is the way that I kind of feel about WAN show. On xQc's stream, it's not like they didn't know who I was, a lot of them. It's not like they weren't down. One of his top spammed emotes is my face.
Your face.
It's like for real, though.
Yeah. Apparently, xQc has been online for 20 minutes so far and already has 31,000 viewers.
Yeah, there you go. But they're not like my peeps. And so the pressure that I felt was not just about the sheer number of people watching and the expectations that come with that, but about that for a lot of people, this was their first and maybe only ever actual interaction with me doing anything other than making a silly face into my selfie camera once or twice. And so I was deeply worried that I wasn't going to solve the problem. Like I went way overkill. I brought one of basically everything to completely build a new system if it came to that. Like if I couldn't figure it out.
I mean,
I felt like not figuring it out and just building a new computer was such a cop-out. That was not the outcome I wanted. I wanted to solve it.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to go find the problem. Speaking of which, Dan, you had a chance to actually have a look at the motherboard. Was my diagnosis correct, or was I barking up the wrong tree? They'll hear it here first. Does he even have a microphone?
It's muted. There we go. No, you'll hear about it on Monday because I haven't looked at it yet.
Oh.
Because I've been dealing with other things.
Okay.
It was on my desk. It did graze my hand,
He's
as I
been a
said.
busy man.
It's very heavy. It's a nice motherboard, but I will have an update for you next week if that works.
All right.
Sorry
Sounds
to
good.
disappoint.
Thanks. Okay. BNT Masher, no, we do not have a solution for that yet, but we will definitely make sure you get taken care of. Yeah, so there, I was stressed, like more stressed than I've been on any live stream, like even when things go wrong. So things weren't even going wrong, and I was still super stressed. I had no way of getting more replacement parts if I needed them. Micro Center was closed, and not to mention the with LA traffic, no matter how close Micro Center is, it takes a long time to get there. Mm-hmm. You know how things are down there. So I was shaking in my boots, to be perfectly upfront with you.